Look Back, directed by Kiyotaka Oshiyama, based on the manga of the same name by Tatsuki Fushimoto. It's kind of hard to get started talking about this anime film because the film was so simple. The story is so simple, and the length also is very short. It's just about an hour, I believe. And yet, it stirred so much emotion in me. Emotion's a hard thing to articulate, and especially in art, when something is just hits you emotionally and not so much technically, or there's things to point out in story, or there's specific plot twists. When it's just like it just evokes emotion, it's kind of hard to just articulate it all. But that just shows how much I love this movie and how good this movie is. I think it's a great anime film. I feel like once a year, personally, I get the pleasure of experiencing one of these anime films in theater that just like profoundly has an effect on me for like the rest of that year. And it's always just one I've noticed. It's such a great experience, and I usually catch these movies alone. And I also feel like that's the best way to view them too, because usually anime films are emotional. Though this film didn't make me cry, I certainly felt a lot. And I know my theater was crying a lot at the end. When the credits were rolling, I just heard sniffing left and right. So look back. It starts in in grade school, I believe, and then like a good chunk of the runtime is when they're in middle school, and then fast forward to when they're women, when they're adults. And it's just about two girls who love manga drawing. That's their passion. And one of them is overly confident, kind of she's overly confident, but she's not like a annoying, conceited type of character. It's more like in a humorous way. And then the other one is complete opposite. She's a shut-in. She's extremely introverted and extremely antisocial, and she struggles even to mutter a word to a stranger. And they find each other, and they become best friends, of course, because they have that shared obsession and passion. And it's just a beautiful, like I said, it's a short runtime, so things move quick. There's a lot of montages. I personally don't have a problem with that, and it's just a beautiful friendship. And I just feel like it's so, I don't know, it's just like, I don't know if it's the animation, because I've seen films like this before, or I've seen stories like this before, where it's just an unlikely friendship, and then they get along so well, and then especially in anime. And yeah, this one just like, it was done so good, so efficiently, in just like 30 minutes of like that first half when they're becoming friends. Something about the way the story was told, with the animation, the music, and all that, I was locked in immediately. And I love the opening shot. It's like a really interesting overhead shot of the sky, and then down to the small town that they live in. And then it's a behind shot, which I know that's the cover of the manga, which I have not read. And it's the cover of the manga, and most of the shots in this film are actually like that. They're behind shots of Fujimo at her desk, just drawing. And I just it's just such a simple shot, but the music, it very much amplifies and tell you how you should be feeling in those moments when she's just sitting there drawing, and there's a little mirror at her desk, so you can kind of see her facial expressions. And it's just her sitting there thinking like, what should I draw, shaking her leg up and down. And then finally she's just like, and does her thing and draws her little manga when she's a little girl. And just like I said, the music and just the simplicity, again, the simplicity of this film, of just sitting at a desk and drawing with like an amazing, beautiful score. It just does so much. And I personally did grow up as an artist, as someone who loved to draw a lot. So I kind of related to that a bit. I stopped drawing after high school. I tried to keep it up, and I just felt like I lost the touch, I lost patience, and like my hands were starting to shake. And anyways, but I could relate to it because in up until the end of high school, I draw religiously. So I related to those shots of just sitting at a desk and just thinking what to draw and being kind of obsessive about it. So I really like that, and just I love how there's a lot of still shots and just like showing the characters drawing, doing their thing, and connecting that way. Even though they're not always talking to each other, they're in the rooms together drawing. And I love that. It's beautiful. And also, as for the animation style, I stood for the end after the credits, because it was like a behind the scenes featurette type of thing with the director and the main cast, and it was very intentional, the animation style. So I've seen Chainsaw Man, and I've read a good portion of the manga as well. And it's just so interesting when you see two different studios, two different approaches to the same artist. Mappa is very polished, very clean. Obviously, it's a different type of anime. There's a lot of action, So a lot of fluid animation. And then in this one, this director wanted very much, because this movie is about anime itself. I mean, it's about manga itself and art and the artistry that comes with that. So he wanted to like leave the imperfections in drawing from different shots. So sometimes you'll see clothing where you could see through it a little bit, or you'll see lines that kind of are in one shot and they're not in the other one, like when someone's moving. It didn't sacrifice immersion or quality at all. Like, though it was very much stylistic choice, and I was completely fine with it, and I liked it. There's like a rawness to it of seeing the lines in their eyes, and it's not just a clean, it's not so polished. So that animation style was very cool, and the creative choice, I like it as well. I liked where the director was coming from, why he chose to do that. And it did make it feel like more smaller and intimate. And these, like I said, those still shots, same thing. It's just like it wasn't moving a lot, even though a camera angle from like right here technically is more intimate because you're so close and you're in the character's personal space, so to speak. I like those distant still shots in the bedrooms because it felt like if you were peeking in, like if you were there in their room just watching them draw. So that felt more intimate in a way. Just these kind of distant still shots. I'm sure that has a lot to do with the manga itself, and that's how it was. But I appreciate that the director wanted to articulate it the same way as the manga. He didn't try to change things out, put his own stamp on it. It was very much, I like when artists do that, when they're adapting something and it's clear that they just want to pay tribute and they want to respect the source material. So I love that. I love his direction and the score. I very much love the score. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I almost always mention scores because it's just such a big thing with me. And this score did not disappoint. It's not necessarily extravagant, but it's just so perfect for this film. It's like gentle piano, and I've heard someone say, like, use the phrase or something, say that like it sounds almost as if the piano's in the next room or something, like because it just sounds so intimate. There's so much intimacy in this film. Somehow, I don't know. It's hard to articulate how they achieve that. The music is great, and the director also said at the end that he told the composer that he didn't, something like, I'm paraphrasing, something like he didn't want him to do one cohesive composition or something, that he wanted to just focus on individual songs and individual themes and that sort of thing. And I personally love that because I don't like films when it's just background noise. It's just like we should feel a certain type of way, so let's play the most cliche version of evoking that type of emotion. I felt like, yeah, every song I heard, there was like a distinct theme or like a distinct like progression, chord progression, and it just, I don't know. I really loved it, and I totally felt like it enhanced everything 100%. Like I said, the opening shot, it's a still shot of her sitting there, and the music just was making me feel all these things. Like I said, taking me back to when I used to draw and just sitting alone in my room, and just great score. I've already saved like more than half of that album on my Spotify account. But the song of the credits, the theme song of the film, it's called Light Song. I've seen this movie twice already in the past like 3 days, and I've already heard that song probably like 30 times. Um, I freaking love that song, and what happens at the end, and then the placement of the song in the credits. Sometimes the song in the credits kind of sucks, but the way the movie ends and the way and what the credits are, it's still it's like a scene, I guess you could say. It's animation while the credits are rolling. And man, that song is just so beautiful. It's just so perfect. It's, I don't know what the lyrics are saying, but it's just perfect. I felt like the movie, I felt like the song, sorry, captured exactly what you're feeling at that moment and exactly what the character is feeling. And just like, it's funny, I'm not even trying to make like a clever pun, but it feels like nostalgia. It feels like looking back. It feels like mourning, grief, acceptance. I feel as well. Like there's like a melancholy yet beautiful acceptance I feel while hearing that song. Also like moving forward, moving on. And it's just crazy, like I said, like how simple this film was, the simple story, the simple approach to cinematography, to animation, to music even. Like there's not crazy orchestra going on at all, there's just like piano and vocals. I mean, most of the film is just piano, or there is obviously there is like there is arrangements going on, orchestral arrangements. I don't know if that's the right verbiage, but for the most part, I think it's just piano with whatever. I'm not even gonna try. I don't know. I love music, but I'm not the most well versed. But for sure, that end song is just the power of vocals and piano, and that last song kind of reminded me of the score of Coraline a little bit, and that's a great score, you know. But yeah, Light Song. Jeez, I love that song, man. I'm gonna keep listening to it every day. And yeah, I don't want to say too much about the story. It's like I said, simple friendship. They grow up, they pursue manga. There's of course a little bit of drama that goes on, and some pretty sad stuff that goes down. It's not a unique story, but just again, I don't know, somehow the writing, everything comes together and just makes this such a special film to me. I will say, as a Chainsaw Man fan, I did enjoy the Easter eggs, which I feel like everyone noticed them. They're not super subtle, but they're also not in your face. So those are a good bit of Chainsaw Man Easter eggs that I appreciated. Because, you know, this, even though the manga creator is a male and these are two females, it's clear that this is very much like a version of a biopic or like a memoir, so to speak. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Damn, I thought this was going to be a short video. But here I am, rambling. Yeah, I really love this film. One of my favorite anime films in recent years is Bell. And I don't think this one beats it, but this one is one of the best I've seen in recent years for sure. It really moved me, and I'm hearing pretty much universally that this film is loved by everyone. So that's awesome that this film's getting that love because again, it was so simple. It's a testament to you don't need to do all these crazy ideas, you know, or crazy animation, big budget studios. You know, like this film was so small in every way, you know, in the budget, in the animation style, in the story itself, you know, like there's just a beauty. And yeah, sometimes less is more, truly, when you're coming from the right place and doing it for the right reasons. So, yep, those are my thoughts. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on the film, and thanks for watching.